Hello. So today we are going to start our class with DNA. Okay. So we would have been hearing the term DNA a lot of places, right? Like in every movie that we take, in most of the serials, this is what is going on. We all will be watching it. So DNA, something known as DNA test, DNA fingerprinting and all that, in crime scenes and all that. So you would have, you're well acquainted with the term, right? DNA. And we have studied in our smaller classes also what is DNA. Like we have been introduced to the term DNA, it's not a new term. So actually what is DNA? It is the genetic material. DNA is nothing but the genetic material that most organisms we possess. Why is the term most organisms being said there? Because every organism, each and every organism in this universe, we can't say that. We can say each and every organism consists of, or it is made up of the genetic material DNA. We can't say that. Why? Because some creatures or some living beings, they are made up of RNA also. The genetic material is exclusively RNA. For example, viruses. Okay, so we can't say all organism, each and every organism on this earth is they comprise of DNA as genetic material. So the term will be in safer terms, right? So better the term, most organisms genetic material is made up of DNA. So what is this DNA? It is nothing but deoxyribonucleic acid. The term DNA, if it is expanded, we will say it as deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, so we all know a cell, right? We have been studying a cell. It comprises of nucleus in the middle of the cell. The cell, it is made up of nucleus. The nucleus consists of nucleolus, that is the middle part. The nucleolus is the part that the nuclear membrane encompasses, right? And so the nucleolus, they contain chromatin in them. So what is this chromatin? They are nothing but condensed form of chromosomes. You would have heard the term chromosomes also, right? So chromatin is nothing but the condensed form of chromosomes. So what are chromosomes? Chromosomes are nothing but a structure made up of thousands of genes. Chromosomes are nothing but structures made up of thousands of genes. Okay, so each gene, they code for a particular trait. So I am putting it again for you. Cell contains nucleolus and all the materials are the genetic area. It is encompassed by a nuclear membrane and the whole structure is called as nucleus, and that nucleolus, they contain a structures called chromatin, and chromatins are nothing but very much condensed form of chromosome. Okay, and what are these chromosomes? They are nothing but they are genes. They are made up of genes. Thousands of genes, they make up a chromosome. Okay, yes. And one thing what you have to remember here is, the chromosomes are fixed in number for each organisms. Okay, for each organisms, the chromosomes are fixed. For example, in human beings, the chromosome is 46 in number. Like that, it is fixed in each organism. But the number of genes, they can be up to thousands. So the chromosome number in each organism is fixed, like the chromosome number for human beings are 46 in a cell, in a nucleus. Okay, but the genes present in the chromosomes, they can be in thousands. The genes can be in thousands. Okay, yes. So that genes, what we call that genes, it is nothing but the DNA. The genes is nothing but the DNA. I'll just illustrate it to you with a simple diagram, right? This is the structure of a DNA, and actually that DNA, this is the structure, okay, small fragment of DNA, what we call as genetic material. It comprises of so many base pairs in it, okay, and see each site here, this place it codes for hair color, this place it codes for skin color, this place it's code for eye color. Okay, so all the morphological characters. So what is morphology? It is nothing but the external appearance, right? and some genetic disorders also, some genetic traits also. Okay. So all these are carried, these characteristics of a particular organism, it is carried in this DNA or gene. We will say now that child is looking exactly like his father, or the child is looking exactly like his mother and all. He is having a father's eyes, father's nose and all that. So how is it possible? Because the genes are transferred, the genes or the DNA, they are heritable. That is why we say that them as genetic material. So genetic materials are nothing but those materials which can be inherited from one generation to another generation. Okay. So the DNA, they consist of certain points or segments. The DNA or gene, they carry certain, the DNA they carry certain points. Okay, active sites. Those active sites in the DNA are called as genes. It is not necessary that all points or all centers in a DNA, they should be active, they should code or they should give any trait. No, it's not necessary. Certain points or certain segments are there in a DNA which are very active, which express some trait. Okay, see, for example, you take my color, right? I'm a bit dark skinned. My eyes are brown and my hair is wavy, it's neither curly nor straight. Okay, so you think, okay, my hair structure, my hair texture, wavy texture. So that wavy texture, it is coded in this particular point. Then my skin color, this dark shade, it is coded in this point. And my eye color, it is inherited from my father, it is coded in at this segment. Okay, so like this points or the segments, okay, the active sites are there. It is not necessary that the segments in between these traits, okay, in between you are able to see this some points. It is not necessary that all those things they should be active. They should also code for some trait or characteristics. The segments in between or the points in between or the base pairs in between or DNA sequence, it is not at all necessary that every DNA sequence should carry some trait or express some trait. It's not at all necessary, right? Only certain points are active in a DNA. So the DNA, they carry genes which are active and they express some traits. And it is not at all necessary that all the segments in a DNA or all the sequence, they must carry a trait or they should express some trait. It's not at all necessary. It's not at all obvious. Okay, that is what we have to remember. Only certain points are active in the DNA. And those active points in a DNA or active, actually I am saying the points, like for you people to understand, that's not a correct term, okay. So the sequences which are active in a DNA, those sequences are called as, that active points are called as genes, okay. So genes are nothing but DNA, but actually they are the active points or the active sequence in a DNA, okay. So now what we are going to see is, I hope you understood some bit of that introduction, right? Yes. So DNA, they carry our traits. They carry the traits that is seen in us or it is hidden in us, all the characteristics. Okay. All those are carried and expressed by DNA. That's what we have to remember now. Yes. Now, how does this DNA control traits? How is it that the skin color, hair color and all that things, they are controlled by DNA? And what is the relation between protein synthesis and DNA? And what is the role of RNA? Okay, so all these things we have been hearing it, right? That is what actually we are going to see in this chapter. Okay, yes. So next is, we are going to see about DNA and RNA, the genetic materials in detail. Okay, yes. So DNA and RNA, they are nothing but they are nucleic acids. DNA and RNA are the genetic materials or inheritance materials present in the cell, nucleus of a cell. They are nothing but nucleic acids. DNA and RNA are the inheritance material or genetic material, and they are deoxyribose nucleic acid and ribose nucleic acid. Okay, deoxyribose nucleic acid and ribose nucleic acid. This is what makes up DNA and RNA. And like I told you, so the differences between, the basic difference between DNA and RNA, it is nothing but DNA is double stranded, RNA is single stranded. Okay, DNA is double stranded and RNA is single stranded. It has only one strand with it. Okay, DNA is double stranded, RNA is single stranded, and the DNA is a helical in structure. DNA is helical in structure. What is the meaning of helical? It is wrapped around each other. Something wrapped around something. That is what is helical structure. Okay, and there is no question of such things in RNA because it is a single stranded one. And this is double stranded, helical in structure, and it is made up of deoxyribonucleic acid. And this is a single stranded unit. RNA is a single stranded structure, and it is made up of ribose nucleic acid. That is a major difference. Then, by talking about DNA, we have to say that DNA is actually, it is a polymer. DNA is a polymer. Okay, DNA is a polymer, and it is made up of so many monomer units. What is the meaning of that actually? DNA is a polymer. To say in a simple term, polymer means chain. Okay, to say in simple term, polymer means chain. A chain is what is the meaning of polymer is, right? So DNA is a chain of monomers. Okay, DNA is a polymer of monomers, or it is a chain of monomers. What is the meaning of that? A monomer means a single unit. A monomer means a single unit. Here the monomer unit is deoxyribonucleotide. Okay, here one monomer unit is deoxyribonucleotide. So I am just representing it and drawing it for you, right? So this N, we will keep this one N, this box as one deoxyribonucleotide structure. So this one N is a deoxyribonucleotide structure. Okay. So N, see how many N they make up one polymer. They are linked with each other. Okay, so this one N, I am representing this one N. Okay, that actually that one N is nothing but one deoxyribonucleotide unit. This one N is nothing but one deoxyribonucleotide unit. Okay, and that one deoxyribonucleotide unit is nothing but a monomer. That is what we call as a monomer unit, a single unit. Here in DNA, this one monomer unit, it is made up of deoxyribonucleotide. I am repeating it. In DNA, one monomer block or one monomer unit is made up of deoxyribonucleotide. So many deoxyribonucleotide are there. That is, so many monomers, and that each monomer, okay, that monomer blocks are nothing but deoxyribonucleotide in DNA. So this deoxyribonucleotide monomers, they join together and they form a polymer or a chain of DNA. Hope you got it, right? Yes. So we will see now what is this nucleotide actually. What is this nucleotide actually? Okay, we'll see that. What is it?